Welcome. This video is documenting the prediction that famous singer-songwriter Paul Simon of Simon and Garfunkel will slip and fall and severely injure his head on December 19th, 2025. The post date on the social media platform that you are watching this video on proves that this prediction is being made ahead of time, as does this time-stamped email and forensic notes PDF document. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. The cover art for Simon's Seven Psalms album uses Thomas Moran's Two Owls. On the same day of the sale of the mansion that was made for the producer of Seventh Heaven, 4 people were killed in a mass shooting in a bar named the Owl Bar in the 41st state. Simon was born in the year 41. 7 days after the sale of the mansion, owned by the producer of Seventh Heaven, the manhunt for the shooter who killed 4 people in the Owl Bar ended. On the same day that the manhunt ended, 7 days after the shooting, the manhunt that ended for the shooter of 4 people, the winner of the NASCAR race was the winner of the NASCAR race that day was only the 4 plus 4th prime number years old. The 8th prime number of years old NASCAR driver won the race on the date 8-8. And while celebrating in Victory Lane, he slipped and fell off of the roof of his car that was number 88 in front of the press cameras. The reason for all of this is because of the sound of silence that begins with, that's the first verse in the 8th chapter of Revelation, which connects to Paul Simon because of the sound of silence that launched the beginning of his career. The beginning of the 8th chapter of Revelation and the 7 trumpets of judgment, the beginning of Paul Simon's career, the sound of silence. But there's more to this. The 8th prime number of years old driver slipped and fell off the roof of his car, number 88, on the date 8-8, exactly the 8th prime number of weeks, before it is predicted that the composer of the album, that has owls on its cover, will slip and fall and injure his head. Okay, so the driver slipped and fell off the roof of his car and broke his collarbone in front of the press cameras. The car was number 88, the date was 8-8, and 19, the age of the driver, is the 8th prime number. And this is exactly 19 weeks, or the 8th prime number of weeks, before the predicted slip and fall and injury of the head of Paul Simon. So you see, that's amazing, right? December 19th is exactly the 8th prime number of weeks after the 8th prime number years old driver slipped and fell off the 88 car on the date 8-8. But it was also the same day as the manhunt that ended for the shooter of the Owl Bar, and Paul Simon's recent album is on its cover depicting owls. It's 2 owls, by the way. The shooter at the Owl Bar shot 4 people. 2 times 4 is 8. Wow, that just came to me, actually. Yeah, that always happens as I'm going through the information, as I'm recording it. Every time you go over the information, new inspiration comes. And so, yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, why wasn't the date, people? Didn't need to be. Because there's 2 owls on the cover of Simon's album. And again, it was in the 41st state. Simon was born in 41. 41 equals key in simple English gematria. A key opens the bottomless pit to King Apollyon, et cetera, like I explained earlier. So 2 owls on the cover and 4 people shot in the Owl Bar hints at 2 times 4 equals 8. It also hints at 2 4s, by the way, and the 44th president, the Antichrist. And that's relevant to Paul Simon's head injury because the head injury symbolizes the demonic possession of those who take the mark of the Antichrist that will be enforced by the Antichrist.